I'd like to take a moment to thank my channel members for your continued support. Thank you, and consider joining today for added perks and exclusive content. Hello and welcome, I'm Bert The Stormtrooper, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Super 7 Reaction Masters of the Universe Skeletor and Panther. If this is anything like the He-Man and Battle Cat, I already know I'm going to love this toy. So, as some of you may know, a couple of weeks ago, I happened upon this set right here at an FYE store here locally. I didn't know anything about this, but when I saw the gimmick and how the figure went into the cat, which is very much reminiscent of the vintage Star Wars figures of my childhood. As soon as I saw that, that was a deciding factor. I had to purchase this figure, and then when I did a little bit of research for it, researching the figure for my review, I found out that there had been also a release of Skeletor and Panther. So of course I took to the internet and I had to get myself a set, and here it is. I'm really excited to be getting this guy. So here we have Skeletor and Panther right here. We can see that they're in the same, very much same style of window box that we got for the other set. We can see Skeletor right there with his Havoc staff. We can see Panther right there with his saddle. And by the looks of it, I couldn't tell this online in pictures, but now that here it is in hand, I can tell that it looks like Panther is flocked, which is really cool. Up here at the top, we got some really cool artwork of Skeletor riding Panther away from Snake Mountain and off into battle. Along the sides, we got that same artwork right there. Super 7, Skeletor and Panther on this side, and then along the back, we've got product shots of He-Man and Battle Cat, Skeletor and Panther, and then again, we've got that checklist. Again, very reminiscent of those old vintage toys we used to get back in the day. We used to get these little checklists right here, so as you were collecting the figures, you can check off which ones you had, and you knew which ones you still needed. So very cool. And again, of course, a lot of people, and I got a lot of comments with He-Man and Battle Cat as well. A lot of people just think this is hideous, and yeah, I can't argue with that. I completely get it. This is not for everyone. This is geared specifically to people like myself, people who grew up in the 70s and early 80s with those old Kenner Star Wars toys. The molds were not perfect. We only had 5 points of articulation, and they had to find really creative ways of making figures and playsets and vehicles and beasts and whatnot work with each other. In the case of the Kenner Star Wars toys, like Luke riding a Tauntaun and a Stormtrooper riding a Dewback, what they would do is they would put a little spring-loaded flap on the beast's back, and you would literally just inject the figure, just insert the figure into the beast. This is marketed or aimed at people like myself who grew up with those toys and find charm in the fact that these are not the most accurate sculpts. They're not the most detailed figures. They're not the most articulated, and they're kind of cheesy. That's the whole point. So, again, I'm just putting that out right here in the beginning before I start getting a bunch of comments about how much this looks like it sucks, because I know I'm just going to get them. So there it goes. Sure, if it sucks for you, then don't buy it. This is aimed for somebody like me. Enough said about that. Let's get this guy opened up and check it out. And here we have Skeletor and Panther out of the package, and these guys are just as awesome as I expected them to be. Skeletor is approximately 3 3/4 inches tall. Panther is about 7 inches long, about 3.5 inches tall at the top of the head, 4.5 if you want to go to the top of the saddle. So this is, again, it's going to be very similar to the He-Man and the Battle Cat that we looked at a week or two ago. Let's start right here with Skeletor, and Skeletor does come included with his Havoc staff. As you can see it right there. Very nicely detailed. Check that out. Absolutely love all the details on that. They got all the little ridges on the ram horns, the little cone-shaped spire thing there, kind of like the toilet plunger kind of thing there. The face sculpt on the actual ram head itself. I don't know how that's coming through on camera or not, but it's actually really well done. Super impressed on the level of detail that they gave that Havoc staff. And then going all the way to a ballpoint there at the bottom. Taking a look at Skeletor himself. let's take the Havoc Staff. I cannot say Havoc Staff for some reason. Taking a look at Skeletor here a little closer, you've got the green and yellow skull right there. You got those black insets on his eyes with those red dots way deep in there. And again, if you look at his armor, you can see all of the molded detail. You can see that bat right there, molded right there into his armor, and you can see the little bones coming off of the sides right here. Really nicely detailed. Really impressed with the level of sculpting detail that they gave such a small figure, especially for a figure that's not supposed to be all that detailed, right? This is supposed to remind us of the old 70s, not as well detailed figures as like modern figures, right? So yeah, still very nicely sculpted, a really, really fun, cool little likeness right here. Articulation wise, 5 points of articulation, so the head can move side to side. The arms can go forward and backwards all the way around, and the legs can go forward for a sitting position. That's going to be about it. Let's give him his Havoc Staff, and we'll take a look at him. I guess it's kind of hard to show off with the Havoc Staff kind of covering his face. The way that the hands are molded, you can see that the opening is kind of at an angle, at least for his right hand. So it puts the Havoc Staff at a bit of an angle covering his face. So I'll see if I can get him to hold it in his left hand. Maybe that'll look a little better that way. And now he doesn't want to hold the Havoc Staff. There we go. And well, now he wants to lead a marching band apparently. So let's take a look at Skeletor next to He-Man, so you can see how the two of these stack up next to each other. Okay, you know what? We'll do it without this Havoc Staff. Havoc Staff. How about that? So you can see what the two of these guys look like together, how they measure up to each other.
I'll get you next time, He-Man.
So anyway, there it is. So you can play with, that's the whole point of these, is to play with them. Very, very cool. Really neat little figures. Let's try to give him his Havoc Staff one more time, and we'll set him off to the side. Let's bring in Panther. So a couple of things about Panther. It was really neat. I was not expecting Panther to be flocked. He is flocked, and he looks absolutely beautiful. But there is one catch. So we'll get to that in just a moment. Taking a look at his face. It looks pretty much like the same exact, just like they did back in the day. It's the same exact sculpt as Battle Cat. In fact, let's take Battle Cat. Let's bring him in real quick. So it's literally the exact same cat. They just flocked it with purple flocking. That's it. And of course, once you give Battle Cat his helmet, they look a little more different. But the cat design or the cat mold is the same, and the saddle part here, that is all the same. So again, the head sculpt is really nice. You got the red mouth with the white teeth and those yellow eyes. No articulation there. The mouth doesn't open or close or anything like that. The legs do move forward and backwards, and you can see as I move them around, a little bit of flocking does shave off. So that is going to happen. The back legs can also move. So you can do some posability with them, but because the feet don't move, there's not really a whole lot to be done here. It's kind of one of those, it's there just to be there, but more than anything, he's just going to stand kind of static, kind of like the original figure did. All right, so the saddle, let's take the saddle off. And again, this is just soft, very soft plastic, almost rubbery plastic. And it's got that little tab right there that's going to tab around there. He's got the exact same gimmick at the top here with the little door that opens, so that Skeletor can sit in. And right away, you can see what that catch is that I was talking about. Putting Skeletor in and out of here actually is scratching up that felt. You can see where it's starting to kind of like peel off right there, on the lip right there. And every time, especially with Skeletor, because Skeletor has these kind of like these tips, these pointed tips at the back of his ankles. So when you're trying to get him in there, you're actually scratching up the felt. So the first couple of times I put him in there, I noticed that the felt was getting all scratched up, right? So what I've started doing is, I'll show you here in a moment, is I'm just using something else to pry it open and then get Skeletor in once I got him pried open. So let's do that now. Let's go ahead and put his saddle back on him. All you got to do, again, is just bring the little tab around and snap that into place. And so what I've been doing is I've been taking like I've been opening it with my finger and then using something else to hold it open. That way I'm not using another plastic thing to scratch the felt up. And then bringing in the figure. And of course, now that I'm doing that on camera, it's probably not going to work as well as it's been working off camera. Nope, it sure didn't. But you get the idea. That's what I've been doing. I've been just kind of looking for something to pry it open with, so that I'm not scratching it as bad with the figure. And you can see little bits of felt here falling off. That's just the nature of felt. That's just how it's going to be. Fortunately, in this case, this is just going to display like this, right? So you're not really going to see that scratching, but, you know, I'd be remiss if I didn't point it out. And we'll give him his Havoc staff again. Let's see if we can... I have a hard time kind of posing him with the Havoc staff in a way that doesn't bend it. You can't really bring it down to the... Well, I guess that's not that bad. I want to kind of give him some sort of a threatening pose like that. There we go. So we'll put him up like that, and then we'll bring in Battle Cat and He-Man once again. And we'll get him into a nice, cool display. And again, I still don't know where the heck I'm going to put these guys. These guys have been living on my desk for the better part of 2 weeks now. Well, He-Man has. He just got here. But, yeah, these guys have just been on my desk. So, I don't know where the heck I'm going to put them. But I don't know. Maybe they'll just stay on my desk because these are so much fun to fiddle around with. So there you go. So you can see what the 2 of them or the 4 of them would look like together. Really, really cool battle scene right there. Or the makings of one anyway. Almost tempts me to start getting into the He-Man reaction line, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna fall into the rabbit hole. I can't. It's too much. You know, a collector has to draw a line at some point. These are the 2. I'm happy with these 2. These 2 are just fantastic, and they look absolutely great together. And I think that about does it for the Masters of the Universe Super 7 Reaction Skeletor and Panther. Again, this is not for everybody. Before you go down in the comments and tell me how much you think this sucks and how ugly you think this is, I get it. This is not a super detail up to modern standards figure. It's not supposed to be. This is not for everybody. This is a nostalgia thing. This is for people like me who grew up in the 70s with old 3 3/4 Kenner figures. This is just a nostalgia thing for somebody like me that finds this charming and gimmicky and fun. If you don't think it's worth your money, then don't buy it. But you don't have to go down and tell me about it either. So, again, I think that about does it for the Super 7 Reaction Masters of the Universe Skeletor and Panther. What did you think of these figures? Let me know down in the comment. Give me some thumbs up. Subscribe, hit that bell icon so you're notified when I upload a new video. I've got a donate button up there, and I've also doing the channel membership thing now. If you feel inclined to do either one of those, I would greatly appreciate it. Please share with your friends if you like what you see, and I'll talk to you next time.